dangerous criminal aliens will make it easier for President Trump to remove them in the future.
It is being hailed as a major victory by the Trump administration. By a 5-4 vote, the Supreme Court allowed the Trump administration to use an 18th century wartime law to deport Venezuelan illegals, but said they must get a court order hearing before they are taken from the United States. But the conservative majority said that legal challenges must take place in Texas instead of a Washington courtroom. The case stemmed from the order by D.C. District Judge James Boasberg to turn around a plane filled with Venezuelan Tren de Aragua gang members en route to the prison in El Salvador. Art Arthur is a resident fellow in law and policy at the Center for Immigration Studies.
It is a rebuke to Judge Boasberg and a vindication of the Department of Justice that had been arguing in the face of great acrimony on the part of most in the media that these cases never should have been brought in Washington, D.C.
Arthur says the ruling will be helpful for the president moving forward.
It's going to expedite the judicial review in these cases. It's going to make it significantly easier for the president to remove criminal aliens who pose not just a danger to communities in the United States, but to the United States itself and to our allies in the Americas.
I'm Chad Groening.
A Columbia University professor, even though he's not conservative, says universities are now instructing future teachers how to indoctrinate their students rather than preparing them to teach.
John McWhirter, who is also a New York Times columnist, made that assertion, Breitbart.com reports. Lori Higgins of Breakthrough Ideas completely agrees, saying that departments of education are dominated by leftists and have been for decades.
What happened was, in essence, leftism became systemic and institutionalized. Not racism, leftism. That's what became institutionalized, and departments and colleges of education were right in step with that.
She says when you see angry college students protesting in support of Hamas, it's because it's been 2 generations at least of kids being indoctrinated in their schools.
Every college and university in the country, other than distinctly conservative ones, their departments and colleges of education are notorious hotbeds of leftism, and they are the people who are training teachers.
I'm Bob Kellogg.
And some Social Security recipients got good news today.
People receiving Social Security benefits will begin seeing an increase of about 2.5% or almost $50 on average. The increase affects more than 72 million U.S. citizens receiving Social Security. The new payments go out today and 2 other times this month, depending on birth dates. The Social Security cost of living, or COLA, increase is designed to help recipients with inflation resulting in rising costs of living expenses. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
More news online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
Hi, my name's Fred. I'm from Kansas, and I've listened to AFR for about 20 years now. And over the years, it has prompted me to do several things. I've gotten more involved in politics. I've actually ran for a political office. And right now, I'm going back to school to get a paralegal degree in hopes of working for a constitutional law firm. And, I'm 66 years old, too. God bless.
In honor of Brother Don Wildman and his wife Linda, it's Founders Day on American Family Radio. It's been more than 40 years since Reverend Don Wildman felt a calling from the Lord and began pouring all his energy and resources into starting a new ministry. Since then, countless lives have been touched by God through AFA and AFR.
The only promise I've ever made to people who give us money, that is, we'll be the best stewards of their money, their gifts, as we can be.
To help us honor Brother Don's hard work and faithfulness to the Lord, you can call 877-616-2396 and make a pledge of support to AFR. That's 877-616-2396. Or give online at afr.net. It's day 2 of Share-a-thon, and it's Founders Day on American Family Radio.
All right, everybody, Walter Robin here on American on the program. Here on American Family Radio. All right, everybody.
everybody. Welcome to the 1 o'clock hour here on American Family Radio. Glad to have you with us on this share-a-thon. It is our second day of our spring share-a-thon, and sorry we had a little bit of technical difficulties here. We've got 7 microphones on the table, and Bobby's trying to figure out which one I'm on. But we're back now here, and let me just tell you, let me set this up, and then we'll introduce our guest that we have on for this segment. Rob West, Walker Wildman, the 1 o'clock hour. We do have a $200 add-on challenge. We had this yesterday. You folks did great, but we can do better. We fielded about 500 calls during the 1 o'clock hour yesterday. I think we can hit 700, 750 during this hour. It's our second day of Share-a-thon. 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396. Rob, we've got a $200 add-on challenge. This is the hour to call in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, what an opportunity here on day 2 of our spring share-a-thon on Founders Day. But this hour in particular, Walker, as you said, is an incredible opportunity. If you've been listening to the banter, maybe you've been busy the last couple of days thinking, yeah, I need to get in on that. I want to be an investor in the American Family Association. Well, this is your hour because $200 added to every gift, and we mean every gift. So you're 20, now $220, you're 50 is now $250. This is the time. We brought in the reinforcements. The phone zone is full, so the only thing missing is you. 877-616-2396. It'd be quick and easy as well at afr.net.
That's right. I do want to highlight, we like to highlight some of the work of American Family Association. And on American Family Radio, each Saturday, and we re-air it on Sunday, you'll hear Them Before Us with Katie Faust. And we have Katie with us now. Katie and I met probably a year and a half ago over the phone, because that's how I usually meet everybody, is over the phone. But Katie was on Today's Issues earlier. Katie is with us now. Katie, welcome to the program.
Really good to be with you. And when I was heading here for the very first time, because I've never been in the South. I've been to the non-South Florida, as your father explained to me. And I've touched grass in North Carolina. But other than that, I just thought it was dry and flat and brown here. And I was wrong.
Yes.
It's very lovely. And so it's great to be here on the ground and scoping out your operation, which I can say is in tip-top shape.
Yeah, well, thank you. We're glad to have you here. First time in Mississippi. I know you were over in Alabama earlier in the week. And the reason I wanted to have you on, there's a lot we could talk about. We could get into the, into a lot of different subjects. I know your specialty is focusing on the needs of children, especially to have their mom and dad in the home and raising them. But your weekend show, every Saturday we re-air it on Sunday. It airs at 3 o'clock p.m. Central. You have a niche, a focus, and you filled a void that we really haven't had on AFR in a long time that I can remember, and that is focusing on marriage and family from the perspective of the children. So give us a little background about that.
Well, let me just say, it's not just that there was a vacuum at AFR. Nobody's doing this. You guys have platformed us, our organization, which focuses on prioritizing what children need above what adults want in every sphere of marriage and family. So whether you're talking about the definition of marriage or modern family or same-sex parenting or divorce or reproductive technologies like in vitro fertilization or surrogacy, adoption and abortion, like if it has to do with family, parents and children, we will always say, what about the kid? Put the kid first.
That's good.
And what that means is you get the right personal decision and the right policy decision on any of those questions. So thank you for letting us take up some of your airways on the weekends. But what you're allowing us to do is not just something that's new to AFA. No one else is doing it. You won't find any content like this really anywhere else on the airways.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, this is Katie is just one of 1,000 reasons to support American Family Radio and what she's doing each Saturday and Sunday. Here's the number to call in. We do have a $200 add-on challenge, and we want to emphasize that over the next hour. We're looking for 600, 700, 800 calls this hour. We can do it. We've got plenty of folks here in Share-a-thon Central. 877-616-2396. That's the number to call in. Every gift you give, you're going to have $200 added onto it. We've pulled together a pool of $75,000 from a variety of donors, and they've agreed to tack on $200 to every single gift that comes in to Share-a-thon Central. 877-616-2396. afr.net.
Yeah, what an opportunity for you to extend your giving right now during this hour in particular. Here on a Founders Day, there's only 3 days we set aside in the spring to invite you to invest in the work of the American Family Association. You count on the programming in your daily rhythms, but we know that you know the gospel changes everything, and AFA is all about the gospel in your community and to the ends of the earth, and then helping you live out a biblical worldview in your parenting and in your walk with Jesus and in your finances, and as you show up and engage the culture. All of that happens as AFA equips you. You're supporting every one of the ministries when you give. AFA Action, The Stand, 1 Million Moms, of course, American Family Radio, and so much more. The only thing missing is you right now. So would you consider your best gift and then call right now during this $200 add-on challenge? This will come and go. So this is this hour only, $200 added to every gift. We just need you. 877-616-2396, afr.net. Walker, when you and I were together this morning, we had just passed 6,500 givers. We're now bumping up against 8,000, which is incredible.
That's right. That's 8,000 individuals and families all around this country that have partnered with AFR. They've raised their hand. They've gotten off the sidelines, and they're in the game supporting AFR. So we need you to be one of those. 877-616-2396. $200 is being added on to every gift for the hour. 877-616-2396. Katie Faust is with us, then before us, founder and president. Katie, your weekend show, I've just got done listening to this past Saturday's episode, but give us kind of a glimpse into maybe some of the questions you field, some of the interviews you conduct that have to do with focusing on the rights and the needs of children.
Well, we always begin things with a little bit of Bible time because, honestly, I am much more of a pastor's wife than I am a culture warrior. Like, the only reason I'm in this business is because children are being victimized. But before I was ruffling feathers in the most contentious culture war issues out there, I was just a pastor's wife, and all I want to do is read the Bible with people. So we always start out with Bible time, and I am more of a translator rather than a theologian. So, whatever it is, Old Testament, New Testament, like, this is how it applies to parenting, or, this is how it applies to child protection. But then we go through some trending news because there are so many areas where children are being victimized in the culture, in the courtrooms, and we want you to be informed about it. Then we'll bring you some interviews. Maybe it is somebody who was born through sperm donation, who is talking about what that was like growing up without their genetic father in the home and the kind of identity struggles that they faced. Or maybe we're going to bring you the interview of a fertility doctor who walked away from his job because he was like, wait a second, this is not a pro-life technology. This is a technology where we are designing, discarding, and donating children to research on a scale that would make Planned Parenthood jealous. And then we always do a little Q&A at the end. We take your questions like, okay, I believe kids should have a mother and father, but my marriage is struggling. What do I do? Or how do I help my daughter whose father, her husband left and now is raising a fatherless child? Or I've got neighbors next door that I really love, 2 women who are raising a child. Like, what's the best way for me to be both loving and truthful in that relationship? Sure. And that's my favorite part because, honestly, I just want to have coffee with everybody, and we try to do it virtually in that last third of our show.
Folks, if you can't tell, you can now, that we don't avoid the hard issues, whether it's the finance discussion on Rob's show or focusing on the needs of the children in our lives and around the country and the world. Folks, we're hitting these issues head on. We're not skirting them. We're not having easy conversations.
That's right.
We're having hard conversations, and this is what you're supporting here at American Family Radio. Here's the number to call in if you believe in the work that we're doing, 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396. We have a $200 add-on challenge, folks. That means during this hour, we've pulled together about $75,000 from a variety of donors, and they've agreed, hey, let's add on $200 to every gift that comes in the door this hour. afr.net is that URL.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 877-616-2396. We don't need to miss this opportunity, folks, here on day 2 of our Share-a-thon. I'm looking around the phone central here, and I see a lot of people on the phone, but I see a lot of people that are not, which is a great opportunity for you over these next 45 minutes. $200 added to every gift. When you call, you're not only supporting the AFR signal there in your local community, you're supporting every facet of the ministry here. We know you want it and count on it, and this is your opportunity to invest in it. And here's my promise to you. You know, Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So your heart will follow your money here to AFA. And when you listen and hear those stories of life change, you'll know that you had a piece of that you were invested in that. And what a privilege the Lord gives us to take a portion of what he's entrusted to us, because remember, it all belongs to him, and then return it and put it to work where he's at work. He doesn't need us. He doesn't need our money. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, but he allows us to be participants, active co-laborers with him in his work as the gospel changes lives. That's the invitation to you today. So would you respond right now with your best gift? We've got volunteers standing by. 877-616-2396. AFR.net. And Walker, maybe they've been concerned about the stock market. Well, good news. It's up 2,200 points.
It's up.
90-day tariff pause, so you can turn off the TV and let's get back to our important work here.
Yeah, you and I were
AFA.
having lunch, and you got an alert from CNBC. Stock market is up, and it's up hot. I've never seen anything like it, at least in modern history. Katie?
Can I just say a little word about, what you guys are doing here, what you're trying to accomplish? I live in Seattle.
Yeah.
My kids go to public school. It's war. Okay. So I read the Bible with them all before they leave. And my 15-year-old and I were reading, we're going through Matthew. And it had this passage that I was like, oh, never thought about that before. But Jesus says, what I whisper to you in secret, I want you to shout from the rooftop. And that was a position where it's like, that was kind of like the most public way that you could get your message, the message that God is giving you to the masses, right? And
at that time, yeah.
At that time, right? That was their megaphone. That was their social media.
Wow.
That was their TV, their
That's
radio.
cool.
That was, right? And God is saying, I need you to use whatever medium is at your disposal to get these truths out. And so I know that a lot of people are like, well, I'm giving money to my church. I'm like, good, give money to your church. You give money to your missionaries? Good, give money to the missionaries. But this aspect of using the tools at your disposal to broadcast what Christ is telling you, and I would say especially on matters of what it means to be human, male and female, when does life begin, those kinds of things, that is what's under attack right now. And that is the kind of things that AFA does not shy away from.
So
yes,
good.
amen. Katie says it better than anybody else, and that's why we brought her on this segment.
Right.
Katie Faust, then before us. Katie's doing excellent work. The first time I started reading her books, and the first time I started reading her articles, listening to her videos on social media, I knew she was a home run. Not because of anything special about Katie, but because she's focused on the right things, and she has good motives, and her organization is just rocking it and knocking things out of the park on the policy side of things, articulating these matters of children's needs to policymakers, deep thinkers, and even the public, just like she does on the radio network. So, Katie, thanks so much, and God bless you.
Thank you. It's a joy to be associated with you guys. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Absolutely. Katie Faust, then before us. Folks, it's Share-a-thon, and we're heading into a break. 877-616-2396, AFR.net. Rob, we've got a $200 add-on challenge.
What an opportunity. 877-616-2396, AFR.net. Every gift, 200 added to it. And the word on the street is if we can get the next, maybe another 300 calls in the next 10 minutes, your sweet little baby girl is going to be on the video.
Absolutely.
Right?
Elizabeth Hope is coming into the
ever.
studio, live on camera, Share-a-thon Central. 877-616-2396. We are doing this for future generations.
That's right.
AFR.net. We'll be back in a few.
Hi folks, I'm Ray Pritchard. For the last few years, you've heard my voice on American Family Radio. I joined this ministry because I believe in our shared vision of transforming culture through biblical principles. We bring you news and information from a Christian point of view. We've made a lot of progress, but we all understand that we have a long way to go. We need your support more than ever because our nation's future hangs in the balance. I invite you to join me in supporting the American Family Association. Together, we can make a difference.
This is James Carter in Robstown, Texas. I'm a long-time AFR listener. I have the app on my phone now. I work by myself in my truck all day long, and the scripture that came to mind was, as iron sharpens iron, so a brother sharpens the countenance of another, and you guys sharpen me. It's great to be able to spend time with y'all all day while I'm working. I'm in and out of the truck, and you guys have some great programming and great people there. And y'all love the Lord, and I love the Lord, and it's great to spend time with y'all. So I hope it is encouraging to you to know that you got people like me who you touch every single day.
It's day 2 of Share-a-thon, and it's Founders Day. We're honoring Brother Don Wildman for his hard work and faithfulness to the Lord.
Faithfulness is the word.
You can join us in honoring Brother Don through your support of this ministry. Call now at 877-616-2396 and make your pledge. That's 877-616-2396. Or give online at afr.net. It's Founders Day on American Family Radio.
All right, folks, welcome back to Share-a-thon. Walker Wildman here, Rob West. We are with you for the hour. And, folks, let me just tell you, we got to pick up the calls. We got to pick up the momentum. 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396. We have a $200 add-on challenge that is only going on this hour today. We're going to bring it back to you maybe tomorrow if you're fortunate. But right now, for today, this is the only time today that we're going to have this $200 add-on challenge. And I do want to give you a little bit of a boost, a little bit of an encouragement. So I've got my daughter, my first girl, Elizabeth Hope. She's 5 months old. She's in studio with us in Share-a-thon Central, got her pink bow on. She is rocking and rolling, ready to go. But on a serious note, we're doing this, Rob, for future generations. We're doing this for our children and our grandchildren. And we want to be godly influences on our children and grandchildren, and that's one of the many reasons to support American Family Radio.
Yeah, I mean, this is a generational ministry, and we're thinking about the generations to come. We know you share that passion with us, that we could engage the culture and think about the world that we will leave to our kids, knowing that they're going to continue this legacy, this heritage of faith, and continue to carry that to the ends of the earth and take seriously the Great Commission. And that's part of what we're doing here at American Family Association. And I love that you've got your sweet little one here, especially on Founders Day, because we think about kind of how this started with your grandfather and the legacy that he leaves that's now going to continue for generations. And folks, that's what you're investing here. You're investing in the work of the American Family Association and American Family Radio so that we can take the gospel to people, so we can build up and come alongside the local church, so that we can equip you to live out a biblical worldview, to engage your culture, to engage your family, to lean into your walk with Christ. It's all of that, but we can't do it without you. And right now, during this hour, just 36 minutes remaining, this is a critical time for us to hear from you.
Yes.
It's during this 1 hour, $200 add-on challenge opportunity. That just simply means every gift of any amount gets $200 added to it. So if you were even considering giving to American Family Association during our spring share-a-thon, and I don't know why you wouldn't, this is that time to call. So let's get every volunteer on the line right now at 877-616-2396. $200 added to every gift of any size, or go into afr.net.
All right, Rob, I'm going to give folks a tip on how to get to see Elizabeth Hope, my daughter, my 5-month-old daughter. But if I give them the tip on how to see Elizabeth, they have to donate.
Yes,
all right? Or at least they have to highly consider donating.
Because we can pass her back to mom if we have
exactly,
to, right?
if we need to. Folks, you can go over to the American Family Radio Facebook page, the AFR Facebook page. You can go over to American Family Radio's X handle, formerly Twitter, AFR. Just type in AFR or American Family Radio on Facebook or X, and you can see Elizabeth and Rob and I. You probably don't want to see Rob and I, but you do want to see Elizabeth.
For sure.
But if you do that, folks, you also need to consider donating. On a serious note, we're here to support the next generation and to raise godly children and godly grandchildren so that they can continue on the legacy of American Family Radio and to continue stewarding this country and all of the blessing that America has been, folks. We have to raise up the next generation, and that's what we're doing here at American Family Radio. 877-616-2396. We have a $200 add-on challenge going on this hour. This is going to wrap up at 2 o'clock Central. So if you want to have $200 added onto your gift, now's the time to call in. We've pulled together about a total of $75,000 from various donors all around the country, and they've said, hey, I want to be a challenge to donors during Share-a-thon. I want them to have $200 tacked onto their gift during the 1 o'clock hour. So that's what we're doing now. We've got plenty of phones available. We actually need to fill a couple seats here. Call 877-616-2396 or go over to afr.net.
This needs to be a big hour. We're headed toward the bottom of the hour, just 4 minutes away from the bottom of the hour, which means time is slipping by for this $200 add-on challenge. Here's the good news. When you give to AFA right now, 877-616-2396 or afr.net, not only are you funding the work of your local signal, your local tower there that you get AFR, and we know you count on all the incredible programming that happens 24 hours a day, but you're funding AFA Action, you're funding the Stand Magazine, you're funding iVoter Guide and 1 Million Moms and AFA Studios and the incredible documentaries like the one that just came out on Brother Don Wildman. All of that is funded with your gift. And here's the thing. It's going to take gifts of all sizes. So perhaps you can step in right now with that $20 or $50 gift. We need that because $200 is going to be added to it. If you could do $100 or $500, that's huge. Perhaps you could be a great commission partner and do $30 a month. What a blessing that would be. We'll count on it, and you can give more over 12 months. Perhaps you've been entrusted with a bit more. You could make a $1,000 or a $5,000 gift right now. We're going to need some of those, and I know some of you listening right now could easily make that gift. When we put them all together, that's how we fund the work. More than 8,160 donors, givers have already stepped in. Just in the last day and a half, we're going to need thousands more, and especially this hour, we've got just 33 minutes remaining for this $200 add-on challenge. Go ahead.
Sorry, Rob.
No.
Rob, we don't do this a ton. Now, we do it 3 days in the fall,
That's
3
right.
days in the spring.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, whether it's on your show or the rest of the programs, we're just trying to bring people biblical advice and solid commentary based on the news of the day. And so this is just a really, when you look at the grand scheme of the year and the years ahead, this is just a short window of opportunity. And so I want to emphasize that because come Friday, come Monday, we're going to jump back into regular programming. But right now, we do need you to come alongside us, and your support is crucial. 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396. Sorry, Rob, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. No, that's very important, and I think, it's well said, because here on Founders Day, day 2, this is the important time for us to hear from you. And perhaps if some of you right now have your smartphone in hand, it would take some pressure even off our volunteers in the room if you could go to afr.net. So if you're comfortable on your smartphone, it's secure, it's easy to do, and you can quickly do it at afr.net. $200 will be added to your gift there. So we're going to need gifts of all sizes. Your best gift right now, 877-616-2396, or on the web or on your smartphone, afr.net.
I do have, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Rob, we've got Elizabeth Hope with us. You've gotten to hang out with her a little bit today.
She's as cute as she can be.
She's live on air for the first time in her life. She's 5 months old, and she's here pulling my headphones, wanting to grab the microphone.
And she doesn't cry,
No,
ever.
she doesn't cry. And she can get away with, reaching for my headphones and grabbing my computer. Now, if my boys try to do that, I might have to get onto them, but she's my only daughter. So she's
already reaching for the mic.
I know, look at her. She's a natural. She's grabbing it. No, folks, I wanted to bring Elizabeth on, number one, because it's fun and she's a joy to be around, but also because we do want to emphasize the generational impact that American Family Radio is having around the country, folks. Every single marriage that is saved, every single life that is turned around, every single addict who has freedom in Christ and turns their life around, which we get these testimonies all the time. Folks, you're impacting families. I just want you to emphasize that. I want to emphasize that. You're not just impacting one life. Every time a mother, a father, a grandfather, or grandmother has their life turned towards Jesus because of AFR, you're impacting generations. And so that's the impact you're having through AFR, and we couldn't do it without you. Here's the number for you to be a part of Share-a-thon, 877-616-2396. 877-616-2396. We do have that $200 add-on special, which is going on only this hour. Once today, we're going to have this special. We've got about 30 minutes left for the special. So if you want to have $200 added on to your gift, it's a great, great deal, because we've had a group of generous donors agree to participate in this challenge, but it's only going to be available for the next 30 minutes. 877-616-2396. And Rob, we can take a ton of gifts simultaneously over at afr.net.
Yeah, we sure can. It's quick and easy on your smartphone or on your laptop there, afr.net. You'll see it at the top of the page. And Walker, I think we can all agree that we've been given this unique moment in time where all of a sudden there's a renewed interest in the things of God.
Yeah.
And people are searching for meaning and purpose. We know they will not fill that God-sized space without Jesus as their Lord and Savior, but they're searching and they're hungry. And I think the pendulum swung too far in one direction away toward godlessness, and it's coming back.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to step into that opportunity and bring the truth of the gospel, unwavering, speaking to the issues of the day, speaking to with, the rock solid on the gospel. And that's what AFA and AFR are doing, and we can't miss this opportunity. And so if you want to help us fill that gap and take this message to many, many more, even right now, this is the time to do it, and especially during this hour. $200 added to every gift right now, 877-616-2396, afr.net.
Yeah, to your point, Rob, there are people all around the country, and they know something's not right. They look at kind of the darkness that's been prevalent in our culture. They look at the entertainment industry, how you can't hardly watch a TV without vulgarity or sex or violence. And the reality is, folks, we need to have a place for people to turn to, all right? And folks can turn to American Family Radio. We have people that are unbelievers, and they've had really no experience or witnessing to when it comes to the gospel or biblical teachings. And that's what American Family Radio provides. And we're doing this day in and day out, 365 days out of the year. So this is what you're helping support. It's a huge operation, 170 plus radio stations, 30 plus states all around the country. We've got a magazine, a news service, 1 million moms monitoring entertainment, notifying moms about what's going on in entertainment and media. And so you're helping fund so much here at American Family Radio. And we want you to partner with us this hour by calling 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396, or you can go over to afr.net, afr.net. And as we talk about future generations, there's a lot of things, Rob, that get folks kind of excited, get them on the field, get them in the game. And when they consider, hey, what's this country going to look like maybe in 10 years, in 40 years for my children? What's it going to look like for my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren? That is a motivator.
Yes, it is.
We want to build up a culture of godliness, a culture of respect, a culture of liberty rooted in biblical values, so that we can continue to propagate the gospel, not just domestically, but all around the world. When you look at some of our founding fathers and their writings, many of them talked about how the primary purpose that they envisioned America serving was to propagate the gospel of Jesus Christ all around the world. And that's what we're trying to do here at American Family Radio. 877-616-2396, afr.net. $200 added on to every gift over the next 25 minutes.
Here on Founders Day, we want you to partner with us, join the more than 8,200 others that have already stepped on board. We're just waiting for your call at 877-616-2396 or afr.net. You know, when you look back over history and you look at all the great moves of God, there have been people, patrons behind the proclaimers that funded the work. From Billy Graham to John Wesley to Brother Don Wildman, there has been a group of men and women that have come alongside those that have been given a unique platform to share the gospel, and they could not do it without them. That's the way the Lord designed it. It takes both, the proclaimer and the patron. And we're asking you here on Founders Day to step in that gap and say, I want to lift your sails. I want to help to fund the work. I can do my part, because we know that we can't do it alone. And so we just want to invite you to be one of those supporters that lock arms with us and join the literally millions that have gone before you over all of these decades to fund this work, but we want it to continue, and it doesn't happen without you. Here's the number right now, less than 30 minutes in this $200 add-on challenge, 877-616-2396. 776-2396. $200 added to every gift of any amount at afr.net.
You know, Rob, to your point, I wouldn't have it any other way. If we could choose, do we have the money magically appear, right, to fund American Family Radio, or do we have to do this Share-a-thon thing twice a year?
Yes.
Every day of the week, I would choose to have Share-a-thon. And the reason why is it's a partnership between us and the listening audience. It's this feedback loop every single year where we say, look at all these families and individuals all around the country that are signing up to American Family Radio. They're raising their hand and they say, I want in the game. We want you to be invested in our work. We want you to feel a sense of ownership when you tune in. So this is perfect. We love doing it. We love becoming before our audience because you guys always show up and you always meet the needs of American Family Radio. Everybody who's donated, we've had over 8,000 folks already call in and donate. Thank you to everybody who has already participated. But we know there's a lot of folks out there that just haven't stepped up to the plate yet for whatever reason. Maybe you've been busy. Maybe you just now tuned in to our Share-a-thon. Now's your time to call in. And what a better time than this $200 add-on challenge.
That's right.
877-616-2396, afr.net, afr.net, 877-616-2396. And before we wrap up, we got 2 or 3 minutes left this segment, Rob. We had this Padfolio, and I know that's a mouthful, and a lot of the hosts have been having a lot of fun with it. But if you're on Facebook or X watching, we've got this Padfolio. It's a nice leather embossed AFR logo. Notepad in the middle. You can take notes, Bible study, take it to a business meeting, whatever you want to do there. There's actually a note already in it. Do you have any challenges? Yes, we do have a challenge, the $200 add-on challenge.
And we don't want anybody to covet anything you have, but if you show up to take your notes at church with this,
it's pretty fancy.
I mean, people are going to be looking over it.
Yeah, it's a fancied-up notebook, exactly. And then the last thing we have, and we do try to provide very valuable, in-depth resources and not just kind of trinkets, but this is the Bible Diviner Human Book by Stephen McDowell, Evidence of Biblical Infallibility and Support for Building Your Life and Nation on Biblical Truth. We're going to send you both of these. If you want to become a monthly partner, $30 or more a month, become a Great Commission partner, we're going to send you both of those premiums. If you just want to donate one time, that's great too. $150 or more, we'll send you the Stephen McDowell book in the mail in the coming days. So those are just 2 incentives. If you'd like to have some resources, like to have some books, you can call 877-616-2396, afr.net. Rob, as I'm looking at the rundown of folks calling in right now, we've got David from Columbus, Ohio, Craig and Beverly from Amarillo, Texas, Tina's over in Huntsville, Alabama, Garrison just called in from Blue Mountain, Mississippi, and lastly, Catherine from Lafayette, Indiana. I almost said Lafayette, that's Mississippi, but Lafayette, Indiana just called in, Catherine did. We got folks from states all around the country that have raised their hand and said, yes, I enjoy and I support American Family Radio.
We love it, and you're calling, and we're grateful. I will say we're just slightly behind the pace we need to have, so we're going to need to have a big final 22-minute push to the top of the hour. We can't do it without you. Right now, every gift of any size, 200 added to it. Would you do me a favor and just right now take 2 minutes, just put everything you're doing on hold, say, I know I need to be on board with this. I love AFA and AFR. I want to be involved in this. 877-616-2396, afr.net. Don't miss it.
Absolutely, folks. This is your time to step up to the plate. We provide you a ton of content, a ton of Bible teaching, a ton of commentary, a ton of financial advice every day of the week, 365 days a year. And this is just a couple days out of the year. We bring a request to you and we say, hey, we need your help as listeners of AFR. So will you step up? Will you help support our work financially? A gift of any amount is greatly, greatly appreciated. 877-616-2396. I need 20 of you to go over to afr.net right now. 20 of you, afr.net. Donate, support the work. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
In honor of Brother Don and Linda Wildman, it's Founders Day on AFR. Here's an employee memory.
When I first heard of Don Wildman, it was late spring of '77, and I heard a news report about a Mississippi pastor who had called his congregation to unplug the television for a week. The report was picked up by National Network News and was everywhere. I was living for myself, my pleasure, loving my sin, not interested in God whatsoever. I laughed so hard at this man, Don Wildman, and said, "What does that crazy old coot think he's doing?" 1988 came, and I'm living in Germany, and I came to a saving knowledge of the Lord Jesus Christ, and upon returning stateside, heard about the American Family Association from a fellow church member who passed the AFA journals on to me after she had read them. And so I became aware of the AFA ministry, but still didn't put it together with the old coot from the news. It wasn't until 1999 in Tupelo, Mississippi, listening to AFR on my office radio, that the Lord would connect the threads of this tapestry for me. Through a series of events that seemed random at the time, I came to work part-time and later full-time for AFR. The old coot was now my boss. This man, whom I had despised simply because he dared to take a stand for right and wrong and point out wrong, became one of the most beloved men in my life. I am so thankful that when God spoke, he was listening and he took his stand. Because it turns out that he was standing in the gap for me.
Brother Don has been standing in the gap for families, and Linda has been standing behind him since the inception of this ministry more than 40 years ago. We praise the Lord for our founder's obedient service during Share-a-thon on AFR.
Hi, this is James in Conway, Arkansas. I have relied on AFR for years for news and commentary from a biblical worldview. As a result, I listen to them every day, pray for them each day, and I've been donating at every Share-a-thon for over a decade now, and certainly intend to continue with that. I just appreciate you folks. God bless you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to American Family Radio on Founders Day. We're honoring Brother Don Wildman as he honored the Lord.
I would just like to see every person in America have access to American Family Radio.
Call now at 877-616-2396 and make your pledge. That's 877-616-2396. Or give online at afr.net. It's Founders Day on American Family Radio.
All right, welcome back to the last segment of this hour. Rob West, Walker Wildman. We've been with you the last 43 minutes. We've had a great time. We've talked to Katie Faust about the importance of radio when it comes to her program on the weekend. I just had my baby girl Elizabeth, my 5-month-old, in with us on Facebook and X. Folks were commenting there, seeing Elizabeth, but I did caveat it. I said you have to heavily consider donating if you're going to get to enjoy watching Elizabeth on the set here at American Family Radio. But no, on a serious note, folks, we've only got 20 minutes left. We've got about 17 minutes left on this hour, and we have a $200 add-on challenge going on right now. So this is the time for you to call. This is the time for you to take advantage of your time and your donation to support American Family Radio. We're listener supported. Without you guys, we're not here, and that's not an exaggeration. We've got to have you, and every year you show up to the plate, you show up to the game, you jump in, you support us, you donate, you pray for us, and we appreciate you very, very much. But if you haven't this Share-a-thon, what better time than now? It's the 1 o'clock hour. We've got 15 minutes left. $200 is being added on to every single gift that comes in the door. What does that mean? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. We've pulled together about $75,000 from various donors all around the country leading into Share-a-thon, and they've said, hey, I want to tack on $200 to every gift so that we can maximize this hour and the giving during the hour. $200 becomes $400. $400 becomes $600. If you give just $50, thank you. That becomes $250. 877-616-2396. 877-616-2396. AFR.net. Rob, we talked earlier, and we've talked yesterday a little bit. We know there's folks out there, maybe they've got 1,000, maybe they've come across 5,000, and they're just not sure what to do with it, which ministry to give it to. What better time than during Share-a-thon to give that leadership gift?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, perhaps you're listening right now and say, I've been blessed with a bit more. Perhaps I've even wondered from time to time, Lord, why have you entrusted so much to me? And I can just tell you, based on the way I read Scripture, it's in part so that you can be involved in God's activity, so you can be a conduit or a pipeline into God's work. And so being able to take a portion of what God entrusts to you and allow it to flow through you, not only to your local church, which is really your beginning point for your giving, but also to those ministries, those causes, those people in need that are on the heart of God that you can come alongside. And what better opportunity than for you to step in the gap here at American Family Association and American Family Radio. During our spring share, only 3 days a year that we set aside for this purpose, our invitation to you is for you to step in the gap with us. And boy, it is such an encouragement. I mean, to think that there's 8,400 and that there will be well over 10, perhaps 16, 20,000 of you that between now and the end of the day tomorrow will stand with us. That's a huge encouragement. But we know that's only a drop in the bucket to those that we're reaching with this message. So if you've been a listener, maybe you've never given, this would be your very first time, or you've given for decades, this hour right now, we just would ask you to make your best gift. Would you head over right now? It just takes 2 minutes, afr.net. $200 added to every gift of any amount. So your 200 is now 220. Or your 200 is 400. Your 20 is now 220. You can do the math probably better than me, and that's sad because I'm the money guy.
It's been a long day, though.
I guess so. Yeah. Regardless, $200 added to every gift. 877-616-2396 or afr.net.
You know, Rob, to your point just a minute or two ago about stepping up and maybe helping give, fill in the gap, maybe for somebody who can't give. We know there's a lot, there's folks out there, they're just not in a position to give for whatever reason. Maybe it's a single mom, single dad, somebody just lost their job. Folks, I just want those of you who do have the capacity and can give, I want you to consider doubling your gift for the people who can't give at all. For whatever reason they're going through, we don't want to be a burden for anyone. We encourage folks to tie to the local church first and foremost. But if you can and you have the capacity to give to AFR, I want you to consider doubling that gift. And here's why. And then we do have the add-on challenge, but this is a little deeper than that, all right? Because I want you to imagine maybe there's a single mom out there. Maybe there's a dad who just lost his job. Maybe they've had a family member pass away. Whatever the difficulty is, there's those listeners out there, and they benefit from AFR, but maybe they can't give, and that's okay. We want them to work through what they have going on in their situation. But there are some of you who can fill in the gap there and maybe double your gift. So if you were going to give 50, but maybe you can give 100, I want to challenge you to do that this hour to help fill in and fill in the gap for those who can't. 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396. We do have that $200 add-on challenge going on for the next 12 minutes. 877-616-2396 or afr.net. afr.net. Let's fill up the pipeline. The next 10 minutes, let's just pack the pipeline for the next 12 minutes so we can just get as many calls, as many gifts as possible. And I want to encourage some of you that are a little more tech savvy, maybe you're in front of your laptop or your mobile device or your tablet, go over to afr.net, fill out the donation form there, leave the phone lines available for those who want to call in at 877-616-2396. Rob, I've never thought about it this way, but when you think about giving to AFR, of course it helps the ministry continue, but there are those listeners out there that just aren't able to give right now, and you're helping keep AFR on the air for them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, through a variety of life circumstances, you may be in a position where this is just not your year, but if others can stand in the gap with you who have that ability, whether or not it's comfortable or they have to stretch a little, we would just invite you to consider giving a bit more. Maybe you've already called once, but you missed the $200 add-on challenge and you want to call back and say, listen, I want to make a second gift and have 200 added to it. Whatever it is, call right now, 877-616-2396, or you can head over to afr.net here on Founders Day. You know, Walker, you and I talk a big game to the team here. We say, during our hour, I mean, we're going to blow it out of the water. So because of that, they've made sure there's somebody at every station. There's not an empty station in the room, which means we've got to have a lot of phone calls so we don't look silly.
Exactly. And the only reason you and I can have a good hour is because of the listeners.
That's right.
I mean, we just kind of talk into the microphone and give out the number. And it's these great listeners listeners that step up to the plate. And maybe it's because we do give out the number about 87 times per hour. Maybe that's it. Who knows? But we're just going to keep doing what works. But
That's
on
right.
a serious note, you guys are great out there. We love our listeners. We love the feedback we get. Rob takes your calls and your questions nearly every day on the program. And we just really enjoy ministering to you and being here in your life here at American Family Radio. We need you to come alongside us for the next few minutes, 877-616-2396. Let's fill up all these phone banks. Let's go into overflow mode. We've got plenty of capacity here. 877-616-2396, afr.net, afr.net. I want to thank Deb from Louisville, Texas. Patricia just called in from Waverly, Iowa. Key just called in from Holbrook, Arizona. We've had a call in coming in from Garland, Texas. Let's see, Robertsdale, Alabama, Huntingdon, Tennessee, Whitewater, Kansas, Riverview, Florida, back in the down in Florida. Thank you so much for everybody calling in, listening on the app, listening at afr.net. 877-616-2396, afr.net. This $200 add-on challenge is going on for the next 9 minutes. So if you want to take advantage of this and you want to have $200 added on to any gift that you give, whether you give $50, $100, $250, $1,000, $200 is going to be added on to every single gift that comes in the door over the next 9 minutes. 877-616-2396, afr.net, afr.net. Rob, I love when you and I can pack the phone lines as we head into the end of the show, because any gift that comes in the door or any phone call that comes in the door before the 2 o'clock Central Hour, that's going to be counted towards this hour.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that means for the next 9 minutes, if you can start that call over the next 9 minutes, or you initiate your session at afr.net, we're able to then also add $200 to that gift. So if you'd make arrangements right now that in the next minute or two, if you could begin that call at 877-616-2396 here on Founders Day, day 2 of our spring share-a-thon here at AFR. Just head over to afr.net. And Walker, there's a lot of ways to give. Giving one time is great. Giving monthly is incredible.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Our monthly partners, we call them Great Commission partners. You're partnering with us in the Great Commission, and we couldn't do it without you. We've got over 11,000 Great Commission partners, folks who have said, hey, I can give 30, I can give 50, I can give 20, I can give $100 a month to partner with American Family Radio. So you can do that now by calling 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396. Or maybe you don't want to give monthly. Maybe you just want to give $150, $200, $500 as a one-time gift. We can take that now at 877-616-2396. Yesterday, Rob, we had a $10,000 call-in, $10,000 gift. And I know there's somebody out there that's loving AFR. They've been listening for a decade, and maybe they can give $5,000 or $10,000. We
huge.
can take that call right now at 877-616-2396. And think about how many lives you're impacting by $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 gift, keeping American Family Radio on the air. We are listener supported. I know you listen to us a lot, but you may not know how we operate, how we're funded. We're listener supported. So we need your calls. If we don't get your calls and your gifts and your prayers and your support, we're not around. So we want to stay around for years to come, broadcasting into your home, into your car, into your mobile app. We need your partnership. 877-616-2396, afr.net, afr.net. And when you go over to afr.net, you can see the premiums that we have, the gifts that we're going to send you in exchange for your gift. This is our Pour Out Your Spirit spring share-a-thon. Our theme is coming out of Isaiah 44, verse 3. For I will pour water on the thirsty land and streams on the dry ground. I will pour out my spirit on your offspring and my blessing on your descendants. That's our theme. God's Word is what drives us. Head over to afr.net. Check out our theme. We've got the phone number there, the Bible verse, the premiums, and of course you can donate there at afr.net.
What an opportunity. 6 minutes remaining in this hour. $200 added to every gift for the next 6 minutes. So if you start that call right now at 877-616-2396, or you start that session, it only takes 2 minutes, but if you get it started before the top of the hour at afr.net, we can add $200 to your gift of any amount. And Walker, one of the things I love about being here on site during these days is to be able to engage with the team here. And to a person, everybody that's a part of this AFA family is very missional.
Yeah.
I mean, they're locked in on the mission of the organization. They're committed to it. Many have committed their lives to it over decades.
Yeah.
It's amazing the team that you have here.
Yeah, it is. You look at some of our directors in our departments, they've been here 10, 20, 30, some of them 40 years. We just celebrated a gentleman, Randall Murphy, who was over our magazine. For 40 years, he worked at the ministry. And so we've got folks that have been heavily invested in this. They were mentored by my grandfather, Don Wildman. And folks, we are in it to see lives saved, to see the gospel advance in our country, to see our culture shift back to a place of respect for godly values, a respect for our founding fathers and American values. And that's what we're here for at American Family Radio. We want to equip you, equip your family to leave a lasting legacy for generations to come. So that's what you're helping support here at American Family Radio. Our team is all in on this mission. We're laser focused, and we couldn't do it without you. 877-616-2396. We need 100 more of you right now over the next 4 to 5 minutes to call in. Yeah, we can take 100 calls, and if we want to split it into 50 of you, go over to afr.net. 50 of you call in at 877-616-2396. This $200 add-on challenge only has 4 minutes left. So if you can get in the call, get online at afr.net over the next few minutes. We're going to tack that on to this hour. Here's the phone number, the URL. I'll pitch it back to Rob. Take a deep breath. 877-616-2396. afr.net is the URL. We've got tons of capacity for giving over there at afr.net when it comes to traffic. afr.net.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm looking around the room here. I see all the volunteers engaged. The good news is we can spill over to others in another room that are ready to take the call, and then unlimited capacity at afr.net. Just 3 minutes left in this hour here on a Founders Day. This is the time, folks. The gospel changes everything. AFA has always been about the gospel. That was Brother Don's mission, to engage the culture with the gospel because people need Jesus. Would you come alongside with us and partner with us for this work? We can't do it without you. This is listener-supported American Family Radio. Your programming, all of these ministries only happen because of your support. So we want to invite you to be a part of it right now. Your best gift right now for the next 3 minutes, $200 added on to every gift. Here's the number, 877-616-2396. I need a full lot of you right now pulling out your smartphone. Do it right now. Click in afr.net right there on the top of the page. It'll be quick and easy to make your gift, your best gift right now during our Spring Share-a-thon.
We just had 37 of the 100 I was going for over the last 2 minutes.
Wow.
Folks, you can do it.
Yeah.
We just had 37 folks come in the door and support American Family Radio financially over the last 2 minutes.
That's incredible.
We need you right now as we have 2 minutes left in this hour. You're going to hear the music playing here shortly. Rob and I are going to be done, so if you're tired of hearing the number, we understand. We're going to shift out of here. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 Central on Rob's Hour. 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396, afr.net. Rob, thanks for being with me for the hour.
Always enjoy it, Walker.
All right, folks, we've had nearly 500, about to surpass 500 calls and folks visiting afr.net this hour. Let's add another 50 over the next few minutes. 877-616-2396, afr.net. Thank you, David from Springdale, Arkansas, Rhonda from Montgomery, Texas, Denise from Nazareth, Texas, Scott from Ohio. God bless you. Thank you. Keep listening. Keep supporting. Keep praying. afr.net, 877-616-2396, 877-616-2396.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.